Hey everyone, just want to show you a few things about Playposit if you are interested in using it, or just take kind of a cursory look at the website. The first thing I do have to mention is that Playposit.com does have a free version, but it also has a paid-for version that has a lot more analytics and pre-made bulbs, although I don't use them too much, and just grading options that I like so much better that I do pay the $90 a year to use this, although I am reimbursed completely in full at the end of the year. And this is just a program that I find to be extremely helpful, especially in getting kids to read, kids who are not going to be picking up a book or a story and reading it. So I'm just going to show you guys what it looks like kind of on my end. I am logged in here. The URL is playposit.com. Create your account and you go to login. And this is what my dashboard looks like. You'll notice first that they use the word bulb for the videos that you create. And this is a list of the videos, the bulbs that I have created. Also here on the left, you can see your classes. You will set up classes for each class you have. I pretty much do mine by period. And you assign each student that you have to whatever class you want them to be in. So for example, if I click here on period 4, you'll see the list of students. Oops, first you see the bulbs that's assigned to them, then you see the analytics, which we'll go into in a moment. And then if you click on students, that's what I wanted, then you can see each student that is in the class, their login, and their secondary password if you need to log in as them. There is some work in creating your student accounts. It's not a lot of work. It's just kind of in the beginning when you have to do 100 and 120 students. It can be a little time consuming, but it's kind of, once it's done, it's done. And I can show you in another video, if you're interested, how you would create a class and get each student an account. On my end, I use the same password for all the students, so I don't get bombarded by kids asking what their password is. If they ask me, it's always the same for everyone. And I've never had anyone like go in as another kid and do their Playposits. A lot of problems, but that's not one of the problems that I've ever had. So, okay, so those are the students that you can see in each class. And if the students withdrawn, you can always just delete them. I don't really make units, although I think that would be a better way of organizing each Playposit. I haven't really gotten to that yet. And before you make a bulb or a video, I think it's worth taking a look at the pre-made bulbs. I haven't used any this year, but if you kind of search through, you might actually find something that you would want to use. If I am teaching sound, I'm a physics teacher or music or something, maybe I want to show this Bill Nye video and add some questions, active reading questions along the way. You never know. You might find something that would be useful for you. So it's kind of a nice little thing that they have there. Let's take a look at my bulbs here. So each one is listed. You can see how many times it was viewed, how many responses you got. This little doodad over here shows you how you can share it. I typically do embed this code into my course and make it an assignment or a file rather. You could also share this URL this way, or students can simply just log in, and as soon as they log in, they'll see the bulbs that have been assigned to them. So let's take a look. If you click on these 3 dots here, you have a whole bunch of options here. Let's take a look at the editing end here of a bulb. So on the left is the video, and I keep things pretty simple. Typically, I will just share my screencast-o-matic, upload it to YouTube, and then when I create a bulb, I simply use the link from YouTube. And then if you notice here, you see a bunch of lines. And what these lines are is exactly when in the reading I stop and ask the students a question that they have to answer. I have it set up where they literally cannot move on until they write something in that blank or click on something, A, B, C, or D, or whatever. So every time you see this line, that's a stopping point. And so here on the right are the types of questions that you can ask. I typically stick to these top 3 options here, just because of kind of my comfort level of what I'm comfortable creating. But I think some of these other options are intriguing, and I would like to try them at another point. For the most part, multiple choice is super helpful because you can kind of get a good idea of what students are understanding as you go through, and you can give them immediate feedback too. So the students take you minutes, they answer this question about the Valley of Ashes, they get it wrong right away. They learn, what they got wrong. So I do a lot of multiple choice. I like multiple choice if possible, because then I don't have to go in manually and grade it. But sometimes I also want to see what they have to say, or their opinion about something. So I might ask a question like this. And Playposit really helps with that active reading. A student really can't mindlessly read something and say, yeah, I read that. It's really not possible. They have to go through the questions. The coolest thing, there's a lot of cool things about Playposit, but while students are doing it, I almost always have it as an in-class assignment. You can be in real time and monitoring them. So if you see that this question everybody is getting wrong, you can either at the end of the period or the next day say, hey, I noticed that a lot of people have trouble with this question, and you can go over it. So you get this very real-time instant feedback. The kids get it, but you get it also. And you can see right away what kids are doing or not doing right away, and you can really be active as they work. A reflective pause I try to use sparingly, but occasionally we'll hit something like a hard vocab word or something that I just know is going to trip them up, and then I write something to kind of help them understand something. I try not to use them too much because I think they get on the kids' nerves. I don't really want to have to scroll through that. But if I think it's needed, I'll put in a reflective pause. Put in as many questions as you want, although obviously the kids do get frustrated if it pauses constantly. So I try to be careful with how many questions I put in. Knowing that the goal of it all is for them to understand, but for me to really get a sense of what they're understanding and not understanding as they go through. And for that, it is really an excellent tool. Okay, so I'm back here. This is just another view of my dashboard. I like this view actually a little bit better, where you can see all of the bulbs. You have to assign each one. Once you create something, it does have to be assigned. So you would click on Assign, and you would simply assign it to whatever you want. I unassign after a week. Again, if I think a student needs more time for whatever reason that might be, I add them to the makeup class, and then that one remains there. At some point, I unassign them to. Like this one, I probably honestly should unassign. But it has to be assigned to their group, their class, in order for them to see it on their dashboard. And this is the other view. This is the view that we were looking at before. Just back and forth. If you want to use this view of this dashboard view, I think this one is considered the old Playposit, and this one's the new Playposit. It's kind of confusing. But just on the same end, this is how you would monitor and assign. It's just a different view. Let's take a look at monitor particular bulb here. So this is what it looks like when you go in to grade or just to look at what kids are doing. If it's grayed out, they have and nothing is here, they have never even looked at it. So if this is happening during your class, you might say to the student, hey, I see you are not logged in, you're not looking at the Playposit. I can tell that, you know, what's going on. And sometimes you can get good conversations with kids that way. And you can kind of see pretty much in real time if you keep refreshing exactly as kids answer. You can see which ones are multiple choice, and again, they get feedback right away about what they got wrong. And the ones with the pencil mean that you have to go in and grade them. And you can see I was a little bad, and some of these didn't get graded. You can go in and on a scale of 0 to 3, any free response they have, you can grade. Now with Playposits, since a lot of times it's the student's first time with that particular piece of literature, I personally, and this is just a personal thing, I grade them on completion. So if it says a student got a 13%, which isn't even accurate because these were not graded, no matter what it really says there, I kind of go through all their answers. I see how much effort they put in, and if they put in good effort, then and completed all the questions, then they get full credit. And I think that does help kids who might get stressed out about grades or who aren't sure how to answer a particular question. This shows you how much time they have spent on this here, which can be helpful. You can even see the average time spent, explanation. Each question will pop up here. I find this pretty easy to use and always helpful to have open, especially on another screen when you're actually in a live session. At the end of each Playposit, a student's given the option to rate and even give a comment if they want to. They do have to rate it. I don't think we'll let them submit without it, but they don't have to comment if they don't want to. Sometimes I really enjoy, it's comical to read some of the comments. Just show you really quick from a student's point of view what this might look like when they log in. So I am going to be a student. Okay, and this particular student is in my makeup class and is also in period 5. Makeup means that he is able to view old Playposits and complete them. So I'm going to click on makeup. And when this student clicks on makeup, they'll see what they've completed. He's completed 15. You can see how many are due soon, 0, that there are 7 overdue. If I click on hide completed, then I can just see what I'm missing or what he's missing. And if he wants to click on a Playposit that he has not completed yet, past due, has not even been started here, he would just click right here and the Playposit would begin. Just to kind of show you what that looks like.
There was music from my neighbor's house through the summer nights. In his blue gardens, men and girls came and went like moths among the whisperings and the champagne.
And here is the video. And then on the left, he will see the questions when they pop up. And so that essentially is what I wanted to show you guys. If needed, I'll create another video if people are interested on what it looks like to sort of create each class and what it looks like more on the back end.